Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Psychology of Self Challenge, where we are on part 4, self awareness. Okay, so let's do a recap of self esteem, the impression that you have of yourself, how you feel about yourself right now. What, um, how would you describe yourself? And are they negative or positive? And do you rely on people for external validation? Do you rely on someone else to tell you how you need to feel about yourself? Your self concept. You've taken your self esteem, you've evaluated that, and you went on to your self concept to see who you want to be, who you want to become, who you are no longer willing to be. What negative behaviors are you willing to stop? Do you need to stop? Do you have to stop to be this? Do you need to change your personality? How you do you know what path you want to take? What your personal goals? All of those things come with self concept, so you have some idea of that if you went through the sheets and answered the questions. So we move on to self worth. Is your how you feel about the value of yourself as a person. Do you put how much value do you put on yourself? And not to convince your self esteem with your self worth. Um, your self esteem is a product of your self worth, but how do you place your value on yourself? Like, who do you feel like as a person? What things do you tolerate? What things do you not tolerate? What How do you spend your time? What things are you looking at? Like, what do you open yourself up to? What opportunities are allowed to come your way? Which opportunities are not allowed to come your way because of how you place your your worth on yourself. And sometimes we go through life without even thinking about the decisions that we are making are directly a contribution to how we feel about ourselves. So sometimes we're not adding up those things that we're doing. And then other people are viewing it as you value yourself, you don't value yourself. You're willing to tolerate this, you're willing not to tolerate this. And it's so much easier to place a negative self value or worth on yourself. It takes a little bit more work and maturity and growth and just being able to say no, what you're not doing, which you're too worthy of this. It's going to take some work to do that. So we went through your self-worth. So now it's time to go down and evaluate what are you awareness, your self-awareness of yourself, because that's what I was saying about our self-worth. When we make the decisions, then we're not even aware of that it's placing value on our worth. So self-awareness is where we acknowledge that part that we play in our own problems and allows us to acknowledge what we actually do want out of life and who we want to become. Awareness is about knowing what we want and what we do not want, which are essential to define so that we can make the necessary changes we need in order to become our highest selves. Now, I do not, and I am not able to fix anyone's problems, and I can't find solutions for them, or guide you in life. It would be fruitless. I don't need to tell another person who they are, who they want, what they want. They already have rough ideas about who they already are. So just my role is to create conditions and environments through which you can fully take responsibility for what you do. And that's my role. So, but your role is to identify the awareness, how aware you are of yourself. And the questions include: how aware are you of your beliefs? What are they? What what are your beliefs right now about yourself? Because what I believe about you does not matter. It's what you believe about yourself. What other people believe about you does not matter. It's what you believe about yourself. Because nobody can be self aware for you. You need to be self aware for yourself. And that is my role to help you become that. What assumptions do you have about yourself and other people? What do you find meaningful? How do you view the world and society? What is the world like to you? What does it mean? I was talking to a guy the other day. He was doing some work on my car, and he said that we were talking about something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it pertained to using your voice and speaking up and making changes, making different, making an impact in life. Something with what I'm about. And he was like, well, you can't change the world. Like, you just have to live in the world. It's nothing that you can really do. I mean, you can't do anything. Your voice doesn't matter. Your vote doesn't matter. Your voice doesn't matter. And I'm just like, hmm. um, I said, well, I don't believe that. I was like, I use my voice every day and help to make a difference in this world. And if you take on a role like that in life, then you probably don't place that much worth on yourself, and you really don't feel like you can make a difference. So even and I don't think he's aware of himself at all. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to keep speaking because I'm going to keep making a difference, and my voice does matter. You know, but if you think your voice doesn't matter, then you probably won't say anything and just deal with anything, and you place yourself on a low self worth and self awareness of your behavior and how you're influencing others. So, how do you view the world? Can you make differences? Can you change it? Like, what can you do? Can you change yourself and impact the world? What? How can you identify your empowering beliefs? Like, what empowers you? Like I just said, I told the guy, um I can speak up and make a difference and make an impact, and I feel that empowers me to get up and do it. Can you identify your limiting beliefs? Now let's go back to that conversation. What is his limiting beliefs there? His beliefs is that his voice doesn't matter, so it's nothing he could do. And that is a generational curse. That is a generational curse that we have picked up from generations before us. And I believe, and I know that 2020, we are breaking out of those limited beliefs that our parents gave us and grandparents. Like the limiting beliefs in a box. Do you believe that you can be different? Or do you believe that you have to follow down the paths of your parents and everybody else in your family? Can you be the first? Can you be the first? Because if you're the first to do anything in this in your family, you have broke through a limiting beliefs. What limited beliefs have you brought with you from your childhood? And we bought so many of them. And we have so much work to do on our personal development to break out of those years of childhood which shaped us. I guess that's what being an adult is all about, breaking out of those limited beliefs that we believed as children, because that's not how the world works. What impressions do you make on other people? How do other people see you? And it's really about how are you presenting yourself. Now, I can say that I'm not always presenting myself as a coach or a life coach or anything of if I'm not, engaging in my business activities. I don't necessarily always present myself as that. And I try not to if I'm in personal settings or around friends and around neighbors. I try not to. Some of them have no idea that I'm a coach. So, um, and that's because, I choose not to be going around coaching everybody, Tommy. I just, this is something that I'm doing to help make an impact in the world, and I don't want to impose. So when I'm not doing life coach things, I'm just like a normal person. Like, hey, how are you? to my neighbors. So they're just like, oh, she's a cheery person. She has a smile on her face. She's helpful. She's, all those things. But then if you really put them all together, bam, it does make sense. She is a life coach. If you get that deep into it. So what impression are you making on other people? And do that line up with who you are, how you're aware of yourself and how you see yourself. And why do you do the things that you do? Why do you do those things? Why am I on here now talking to you about self-awareness and the psychology of self? Why am I doing that? Because I had to go through that myself to break out of limiting beliefs, to get through college twice, to get through starting this business, these things. I do that to make an impact on the world. And I've seen how it had a positive impact and influence on me. And I see how it can have a positive influence on the world. And I have made positive impressions on others. And I love doing that. I love when I see people go back to school. I love when I see people start businesses. Love to see people come out their limiting beliefs. I love to see people break out of who they believe that they are. And I see that I make a change and a difference by opening my voice, and I make an impact in the world, and I see the results, and I get up and I do it, and I love doing it. And that's why I do it, for impact and change. Now, how aware are you of why you sometimes respond to some people the way you do? Why do you respond to people sometimes the way you do? Now, I can answer that. Sometimes I respond to people the way I do because I have given them chances and opportunities to become aware of themselves. And then once I see that they don't become aware of themselves, then me being aware of myself, I respond to get them to think about how they're behaving. And that's why I respond to them that way. So why do you respond to people the way that you do sometimes? Sometimes it's just an attitude that we have with ourselves. Sometimes we don't know why we respond. Sometimes we are going through trauma. Sometimes we're going through stress. Sometimes we're feeling happy one day. And your emotions change. So why do you respond to people the way that you respond to them, whether good or bad? And a lot of times I do respond positively to people, because I want to give a positive answer and show that everything does not have to be the way we see it and the way that we think. So go through these questions of self-awareness, because they are like really, really important to who you are, who you're becoming, and how you see yourself in the world. And the more aware you are of yourself in this world, the more you can be responsible for your actions and your behaviors and the blueprint and the plans and the goals that you have for your life. But it does start with, you need to be aware of yourself. So I'll see you in the next section. So have fun with this one. Okay.